Hello, and welcome to Sun and Fun. I'm Ron Timmermans, one of the many hosts with the Florida Aviation Network, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 45th Annual Sun and Fun International Fly-In and Expo here in Lakeland, Florida. It's great to have you with us, joining us on live broadcast or on recorded broadcast. I hope you've had a chance to come to Sun and Fun this week, or will at the latter part of the week, or if not then, maybe next year. We'd love to see you here. You know, if I said my day was filled with sun and fun, I would be in one of two places. I'd either be here at the Sun and Fun campus, or I'd be at the Bahamas. So today, I think we've got the best of both. I'm here at Sun and Fun in Lakeland, Florida, and I have with me some guests from the islands of the Bahamas. I'm pleased to introduce to you and welcome the Honorable Dionisio, I'm sorry, I really messed it up already, the Honorable Dionisio de Aguilar, the Minister of Tourism and Aviation for the islands of the Bahamas.
Thank you.
Minister, it's good to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
And if I may also introduce your colleague, Mr. Leonard Stuart, who is the District Manager for Vertical Markets, Boating, Fishing, Diving, and Aviation. I'll bet your days are filled with fun, Mr. Stuart.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Good to have you with us. Very good. Well, so good. So I understand, Minister de Aguilar, this is your first time to Sun and Fun. When did you arrive, and what are your thoughts so far?
So I arrived yesterday, non-stop flight Nassau to Tampa, and it was immediately board on site, and I'm totally amazed. I'm amazed first and foremost by the volume of people, the amount of people that come to this air show, and then by just the diversity and the quantity of planes. You know, I've never been to an air show before. That sort of kid in me is coming out. I'm loving it. I've seen some wonderful displays of aeronautical acrobatics, seeing all the many, many different planes that are out there. I keep asking my staff, I wonder how much that one costs, I wonder how much that one costs. So hopefully one day I hit the lottery and I can buy one.
That would be good if you'd hit the lottery. So you've missed the first 44, but at least you made it to the 45th Annual Sun and Fun Expo and Fly-In and Expo. That's
yes,
good.
Absolutely. And I am delighted to be here, and I'm already thinking about next year. So no, it's a wonderful place to come. Lots to see, lots to learn, buzzing with activity.
Indeed.
Everybody seems, friendly and bubbly, and it just seems like a lovely place to be.
Very good. It is a lovely place to be, particularly this week. And I might add that the Islands of the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism and Aviation are sponsors for the Florida Aviation Network, and also sponsor in part the Sun and Fun event here at Lakeland. That's great. And Leonard, is this your first time here as well?
No, this is my 10th year coming up here.
10th year, so
it's
you're a
an annual
veteran.
event for us, and it's great for us that we're able to come and be here at Sun and Fun, that we can gather more aviators and pilots to fly to our beautiful islands in the Bahamas.
Very good. Well, thank you for bringing Minister de Aguilar along this time. It sounds like it's going to be a
yes, and it's historic to have him. He's the first Minister of Tourism and Aviation to ever come to Sun and Fun. So
which I find amazing.
Epic,
I have to speak to my
epic moment for us in the Bahamas.
Yeah. Indeed. Well, very good. Well, if I could turn the focus back to the Bahamas, Minister de Aguilar, what do you think makes the Bahamas so appealing to vacationers, in particular to pilots, in particular to pilots, I guess is what we're looking for today, but what draws us to the Bahamas?
Well, there's many reasons, but first and foremost is distance. We are incredibly close to the United States, so if you're going to make that first international journey in your private plane out of the United States, the Bahamas is the natural choice. We're a mere 50 miles off the east coast of Florida, so it's very short. English is our language. We're in the same time zone as the Eastern Standard Time. The Bahamian dollar, which is our local currency, is interchangeable with the American dollar. It's 1-to-1, so you've got no currency stress. The formalities of coming to the Bahamas are very, very straightforward. The forms are easily available online. And then, of course, the Bahamas. It's a beautiful country. It's got many islands, so the diversity of the product is incredible. If you go to Andros or you go to Nassau, Abaco, Eleuthera, Long Island, the Berry Islands, there's just so much choice. So if you're thinking about island hopping, you've always dreamed about going from one island to the next. You can have lunch on one island, pop up in your plane, 30 minutes later, you can drop into another island. And we have tons of airports. I think we have the most airports per capita in the world.
Really?
We're a country of 400,000. We've got 60 possible different airstrips you can pop into. There are 20 that are ports of entry, so you have to fly into one of those first, do your formalities. Once you've done that, which are very straightforward, very easy, you're off to the races. You can go wherever you want, have lunch here, lunch there. It's just, and every island is different. Every island has a different feel. Every island has a different set of wonderful, charming Bahamians. Every island has its own natural beauty and the pristine water, the wonderful excursions that you can go on. So
I'm sure.
It's an ideal place for a private aviator.
Indeed. So the Bahamas, the islands of the Bahamas, are our closest U.S. neighbor, separated by the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, 50 miles.
Only 50 miles. So
Yeah.
it is indeed a great place to go if you're an aviator and wanted to make your first international journey or multiple international journeys, as so many of us have done. So, Minister de Aguilar, 700 islands in the islands of the Bahamas and over 100,000 square miles of geography. You mentioned several of the different islands, and we're seeing right now a picture of an airplane flying over some of the beautiful, pristine waters and watching the beauty of the Bahamas. So of 700 islands, I'm sure they're not all the same. How would you compare or contrast maybe just two or three of them for us?
So obviously you've got our major cities, so you can fly into Nassau. That has all the major hotels, lots of retail options. That's the city of the Bahamas. That's where the vast majority of foreign visitors go. But if you have a plane, you can go wherever you want. So you can go there on commercial aircraft. So you have your private airline. If it was me, I would launch off into the many different islands, what we call the family islands, the islands that are not Nassau. And you go out and you can go to Eleuthera, extremely charming. It's got 3 airports on that island, so you pick which one you want to go to. And that is a absolutely stunning scenery. You can go to Abaco, which has a lot of historical connection with the United States, a large boating community, so you fly in there and go have a boating trip. You can go to Long Island, which is a bit further down the chain. It's a little bit more remote, a little bit more secluded. You can go all the way down to the bottom of the chain, say Anagua, which has the largest flamingo colony in the Western Hemisphere.
Wow.
You can go to Andros, which is our largest island. It has the 3rd largest barrier reef in the world. So there's just so much to do. You do a little bit of research. And what helps you decide which one to go to? We have this group called the Flying Ambassadors, which are generally aviators from the United States that have been there before, that have experienced a lot of the things that I'm talking about, which can put you at ease. I mean, they're not us trying to sell you something. These are private aviators who have been there themselves, who've experienced it, and they can tell you the nuances of every island, what's different about this island, what to do when you get here, what's this rule, what's that rule, and they can help you navigate, which is a fairly straightforward process. So, there's lots to see, and you could spend a lifetime doing it, and we hope you do.
I'm sure. And many of you who are watching this have been to the Bahamas before. Others of you are probably dreaming of going to the Bahamas, and I hope you'll take that opportunity and join what Minister de Aguilar is describing as just an absolutely wonderful and beautiful experience. Minister de Aguilar, so tourism obviously is a foundational industry for the islands of the Bahamas, but you're also the Minister of Tourism and Aviation. So how would you say aviation impacts your tourism industry in the islands of the Bahamas, the importance of it? So,
step back. Of the 6.6 million foreign visitors that come to our country, approximately 25% of them come by air. But of those 25% that come by air, they represent 89% of the spend. So you have the 75% come by cruise ship, but only represents 11% of the spend.
I see.
So people who come by air are the most economically impactful in our country. Last year we had a historic year. And just to get into the weeds a little bit more, private aviators, important niche market for us. In 2017, about 92,000 people came using private aviation. In 2018, that surged to 122,000.
Wow.
So this is something that is the Bahamas is slowly becoming discovered, but we have so many choices that you can often go to a place and be the only person there. Walk onto a beach, be the only person there. We have so much to offer, so much to see that we can grow leaps and leaps and leaps, and you could still feel that you're on your little desert island by yourself and having that experience. As I say, 2018 was a historic year. The Bahamas is growing by leaps and bounds, and people are discovering how easy to get to, how straightforward the process is, and the diversity of the product, the diversity of the cultures on the different islands just makes it an interesting place to come.
Indeed. So from 2017 to 2018, if I did a quick calculation, it's an additional 30% more private aircraft have come there.
Yes.
And as opposed to cruise ships who dock there and people get off the cruise ship for a short time and experience the Bahamas for a short period of time, then get back on the cruise ship and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Private aviators that come there tend to stay for a while.
They are the best type of visitors. We
Certainly.
love private aviators. They
Certainly.
fly there. They would rent a hotel or get an Airbnb, rent a car, go to a restaurant, go to a bar, have some fun, talk to the locals, drive around. So we love private aviators.
And I wanted to emphasize what Minister Aguilar said, the private aviators that come there have fun.
Yeah.
Enjoying the beauty of the islands, just the total relaxing time there, fishing, diving, boating.
And by definition, private aviators tend to be adventurous, right? So they go off and they explore. They're a bit more, they decide to go off and see far more things. They go and explore the different islands, see all the different things that we have to offer. So we love them.
And I'm sure you do, and I'm glad. And so one of the opportunities to explore would be diving or boating or fishing. And Leonard, this is an area that you work in. What do you do to draw people into those activities once they come to the Bahamas?
Well, once they arrive in the Bahamas, we have booths at the international airport, and we have locals, Bahamas Tourist Office throughout the major islands for information. And that's why we here at Sun and Funds to release the information firsthand. And also for those who are here at Sun and Fun, you can visit us at Hangar D at booth 20 and 21 to come in and get more information on flying to the Bahamas, as well as you can visit our website, www.bahamas.com/boating or /flying.
Very good, very good. So if you're at Sun and Fun, fly into Hangar D, taxi up to the booth, what was the booth number again?
Booth 20 and 21.
20 and 21 in Hangar D, and get some more information from Leonard and his colleagues there on opportunities and activities that you can do to include boating, fishing, diving, and aviation activities. Well, that's great. That's great. I've had the opportunity to fly the Bahamas on a number of occasions and enjoy your beautiful country and all the fun activities that we do there as well. For pilots that are flying there, Minister Aguilar, are there any incentives or programs that you provide to support pilots that fly in from the U.S. or other countries?
I'll let Leonard answer that.
Yes, there is an incentive for them that come in there. If you spend 4 nights on a particular island and they are partnership with the Bahamas Out Island Promotion Board, you spend 4 nights, you would get a fuel credit of $300 for 4 nights. Or if you spend 2 nights in the Out Island, you can island hop 2 nights in one location. Just so you go to Abaco and then the next 2 nights you go to Lutra, you would get $150 each for those 2 nights that you stay there. So they are incentive for pilots to fly to the Bahamas.
Wow, that's an interesting aspect that probably a lot of pilots are not aware of, that either are already flying to the Bahamas or will soon fly to the Bahamas. So stop in at the booth and talk with Leonard and his associates and find out about these incentives that could make your trip to the Bahamas.
Or go online, Bahamas.com.
Or go online. Very good.
Bahamas.com. You can very simple. nameofthecountry.com.
Okay. How can we miss that? So that's great. So incentives are an important part for you to to consider. Any other programs or supports to private pilots that you wanted to highlight, Leonard? Or is
Okay,
that the major?
on the conclusion of this show, for those who are here on the ground, you can watch a live stream on the big Jumbotron that the pilots would be flying into Grand Bahama Island on the 7th, and in approximately an hour and a half, they'll be on the beach drinking our local Calico or Sands Beer in the Bahamas or Bahama Mama. And they'll be waving to these folks back here at Sun and Fun, and those at Sun and Fun would wish that they were there, but there's a lot of opportunities, as again, you can come to our booth in Hangar D20 or 21, or visit our website, www.bahamas.com/fly-in.
Very good. Well, that's a good opportunity, and so if you're thinking about flying to the Bahamas either this week or after Sun and Fun,
And I
there's a
think
lot of
that once
information.
they finish in Grand Bahama, they're going off to Cat Island, which is another island, and then they're off to Treasure Key.
Okay.
So they're going to do a number of islands. All are very different. All have a very unique. Some more remote than others. And I think you just get the experience of flying into these sort of idyllic islands. It's this wonderful experience if you've never done it before.
Indeed.
Especially if you've been in the continental United States your whole life. Here's a chance to do some island hopping.
Here's the chance. Island hopping, one of
Yeah.
my favorite sports. That's a great thing. Minister Aguilar, you had mentioned the ambassador, the Bahamas Flying Ambassador Program. So you have a number of U.S. pilots that have volunteered to do this, or do you recruit them, and what are their roles?
We recruit them, but they're all volunteers.
I see.
So these are, as you say, U.S. pilots who are very familiar with the Bahamas and who are happy to promote aviation to our country. And, as I said earlier, these are persons who have gone through it. You probably find them a little bit more believable than us. And you probably feel a bit more comfortable speaking their speak. And they have all the nuances of what to go through and how it all works. And so it's an excellent program. People consider this a coveted position. They're anxious to serve. And a lot of people have gone through the Bahamas by air. And, they're happy to tell prospective aviators about all that you can do in the Bahamas. So it's a wonderful program that has served us extremely well.
I'm sure. What better promotion than those who have been there and done that to tell their story and to inspire and encourage other people to come
and just to add one other thing, they've even gone so far as to, if you're flying into a number of airports, they've videoed it. So you can, as you sit home and you're thinking, wow, I wonder what it's like to fly into Marsh Harbor, Abaco, or North Eleuthera. And they can show you how to go through it. So you're at ease. You're like, okay, I can do this.
Indeed.
And let me launch off on my first international trip. Not far. And of all the places you could possibly travel to, this is probably the easiest. And then you got beautiful weather, beautiful beaches, beautiful people, beautiful food, and excellent beer.
Excellent beer. And it's just 50 miles away from the U.S. mainland. That's great. That's great. Well, I know you've been improving the international airport in Nassau, and because you've got a higher demand in air traffic. How about other airports? Have you been doing other improvements at the other airports throughout the islands of the Bahamas?
As I said, the government owns 28 airports, so it's a very capital-intensive undertaking. So we've started the process. The second busiest airport in the Bahamas is Marsh Harbor, and that went through a renovation a number of years ago, I think 2011, 2012, but there are some improvements coming there. And then we're off next to Exuma, which is the next busiest airport. And after that, we're going to do North Eleuthera, which is the next busiest family island airport. Actually, North Eleuthera for private aviation is busier than Exuma, but Exuma receives more foreign visitors.
I see.
So North Eleuthera has more aircraft, but Exuma has more people in terms of foreign visitors. And then we're going to do Long Island. We're going to put in a new terminal at Great Harbor Key in the Berry Islands. So all of this is in the works. All of this is ongoing. So it takes time, as everything in government does. So look out. Things are going to improve. There's a lot of airstrips to to look after, to maintain.
I'm sure.
So it takes some time, but we're very excited about what's coming.
And the logistics are challenging, I'm sure, for you, but it sounds like you're overcoming those.
Yeah.
That's great. And are you also increasing the number of hotels and other airport expansions? I know you've talked about those, but hotels and facilities.
There's an explosion on the Family Island boutique hotels or Airbnb as well. Airbnb, this new phenomenon, is just absolutely growing triple digits every year, percentage-wise. And then, of course, in Nassau, we've got this brand new resort called Bahamas, which is 2,300 rooms, a Grand Hyatt, the largest casino in the Caribbean. Lots of food and beverage options, retail options. So add that to Atlantis. So if you're looking for a buzzy, action-packed, lots to do vacation, Nassau certainly has 2 options now. So and that's really, really going very well.
Very good. So if you've been part of the 90,000 pilots that have visited the Bahamas in 2017 or 122,000 in 2018, if you're not one of those, you need to be probably nearly the 200,000 pilots that will visit the Bahamas in 2019. I wish you all the best. Minister Aguilar, thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule to join us today in this broadcast. Leonard, it's good to have you here as well. Thank you for joining us. This has been wonderful to learn about our neighbors to the east, just 50 miles away, the islands of the Bahamas, a great place for you to fly to in your private aircraft. So I'm Ron Timmermans, one of the many hosts with the Florida Aviation Network, broadcasting to you live and in the clear from the 45th Annual Sun and Fun International Fly-In and Expo. It has been my pleasure to be with you. Tune in again for another of our broadcasts later in the day.